Hello and welcome to Success is Never Accidental. I'm Lynn Payton and I'm passionate about helping individuals and organisations to get better outcomes and to feel more fulfilled. And in this podcast, I get to interview some amazingly successful people so that you can better understand their formula for success and identify the common elements. Well, today I am super excited because normally we do these podcasts on Zoom, but today I have a real live guest in our studio in Newry in Northern Ireland. Dr. Ali Shaar is a visiting child health and public health expert from Nablus in the West Bank in Palestine, and he's helped shape national policy on public health, on child development, on children's health, and as well as that he's a champion for advocating the involvement of children in peacekeeping and creating more stable societies. Dr. Ali is one of the founding members of the International Network on Peacebuilding among Young Children. And he's here in Ireland, north and south, building on previous relationships with academics and universities, with communities, with politicians and policy makers, so that we can better strengthen that special relationship between Ireland and Palestine on these important measures, and specifically looking at how we can involve children in peace building and creating more stable societies. Dr. Ali, it is super exciting to have you here today and super exciting to do a live podcast interview because normally we do them all in Zoom. Thank you for taking time out of what's a really, really busy schedule to join us on Success is Never Accidental.
Well, it's my pleasure as well. It's, this discussion that we are going to have, I hope it will be adding value to the work that we are doing within the International Network on Peacebuilding with Young Children, and therefore I thank you.
Well, you have had an outstanding career and a strong relationship with Belfast. So tell us a little bit about why you love coming back to Ireland and what specifically do you hope to get from this particular mission?
Well, thank you. I will talk about the history actually that connects me to Ireland and Belfast for the last 25 years, and I can tell with confidence that I was inspired by the work that the Irish people has done during the Troubles, doing child-centered programs around the reconciliation and peace. And we saw that success, I saw that success, and immediately I related this to my country where I come. And we live under occupation, we live under oppression, we live under complete violation of the child rights. And of course, that has become a motivation for me to join forces, if you like, to establish a network that is able to talk on behalf of children. And take their voice to the levels where decisions are made around war and peace. In this particular mission, I am pursuing scaling up of our work, first defining a structure for our network so that we function in a higher efficiency level, and we are able to make a tangible change. In that particular, I think the network has been able to qualify itself as a reviewer of the UN Convention on the Right of the Child, and I think that's a big undertaking. I am here to discuss a little bit of the details on how to do that. In addition, this trip is also designed to cover more areas that surround the child, but not necessarily early childhood development. In particular, we are talking about sport, we are talking about community engagement, we are talking about culture. And in this trip, I have contacted the agencies, the people who are working on these fields, and I hope really to bring a lot of learning to my country, Palestine, in these disciplines.
Your network has, for the past 20 years, done an outstanding job in bringing together communities in conflict areas. But for people who maybe don't understand the power of involving children in peace-building activities, can you say a little bit about why that's so important?
Well, I will refer to a story that occurred in Gaza last month, which is a 4 years old Dima was telling her mother under the fire when Ramadan, the holy month, came. She was saying, "Mommy, children around the world do not have war, but they have toys. We have war, we don't have toys. Give us toys so we can play, so that when they bombard us, we will die happy." And that, basically, why do we need to engage children? Because they know, they know the source of the pain, and they internalize, and they are vocal in expressing their worries and their concern. And who are we? I think we are the professionals, but we need to understand that we cannot, in the lecture room, in the conference, in the media, only change the reality of the children if we don't work across the board into the different factors affecting their life. Factors, I mean family, community, political situation,
culture,
and what we call
religion,
the social construct around the child.
And so much of the early work in Belfast was encouraging children to have respect for difference and diversity and other people's opinion, and your work is embedded in that kind of philosophy.
Thank you. Yes, very much so. And
so why is sport so important then?
Well, sport, sport is not a physical practice in which you build muscles only. It is a social value that connects and make joint family, community,
Teams,
and institution connection around the child and its interests. It was on Monday, I think, on Sunday, sorry, that I visited a football game, and that was in Newry, and the minute the game finished, I have seen young people, old people, women, men, children, young people, just going into the playground field and enjoying a kind of joint activity to celebrate their belonging, their bounds in a very special way. So sport is not the physical movement around the play, it is the construct that brings people together into a competitive but also a friendly way. And you said respecting diversity. I think the best person who I heard talking about diversity is John Hume, when he said that differences is a result of an accidental birth of a child into this or that community or group. What we need to do is to understand and recognize that this diversity should not be a reason to stigmatize children, and that started to grow, I think, into what we see now in Northern Ireland. You know that after the Good Friday Agreement, we started to see that basically there is reconciliation, there is acceptance of diversity, and there is respect for the other. You know,
I studied in India, in Chennai, at a oneness university, and it was a spiritual university where we studied the whole concept was always looking for what joins us together, what makes us common, things that we have in common, as opposed to looking for differences. And that's very much what your work embodies as well.
Exactly. And I want here to bring the example of my city, Nablus.
Yes.
Nablus is a very old, ancient city, whereby for thousands of years, Muslims, Christians, and Samaritans, which is the original Jewish tribe, are living in such a harmony in that city, which brings this thinking about the fact that, okay, Nablus is one of the most affected cities by the war and by the incursions from the Israeli side, but yet we know that the Nablusi community is enjoying the respecting diversity and brotherhood relationship between the different religions in the city, and we start to challenge the fact that our problem in Palestine is not really a religious problem. It is basically a political problem with an occupier, unoccupied.
You've also met with the universities.
Yes.
What is the research telling us?
Well, I think I am ambitious on that front because, again, Irish and Northern Ireland universities are very, very prestigious universities. And there is a lot to learn from them, and there is a need to work on research. There is a need to work on academic cooperation, not only in terms of conferences, workshops, but, for example, we are developing with this IMPP a master's program on peacebuilding through early childhood development. And that master's program, if implemented only in Ireland or Northern Ireland, will be okay, but we are thinking about taking the students into Palestinian universities so that they see what does it mean working for peace in a country affected by war. So,
yeah, that's such a super idea, because when we're looking at things from a distance, everything's assumptions, isn't it? But when it's like, recently I was reading about tourism in your area and how beautiful it still is, but you would never imagine that from the news broadcast. So I think a concept where you have placements in different countries is a super one. What are some of, when this has been a really successful visit, what will you have gained? What 2 or 3 things that you are really, really passionate about?
First, I formalize the agreements between my university, my institute, and relevant Irish and Northern Ireland bodies in terms of twinning and cooperation. Second, we take our work as INPP one major step forward, which is establish a regional sub-office for the network within a region that is hardly hit by conflict. I mean, the Arab world, the Arab countries. This is 2. 3, and I am very hopeful it will happen, create twinning programs with communities, cities, and I hope that will materialize. I don't want to say any more details because it is still in the oven, but between communities, between youth clubs and cultural institutions. I want here to stress the fact that we have a lot to learn, not because we don't know, but because there has been a lot of similarities, between Ireland experience and Palestinian experience.
The nature of your work is global. I was so pleased to meet your colleague, Dr. Ral Mercer, in Buenos Aires recently. Tell us a little bit about all the different countries that are involved in the network.
Well, let's say so far we don't have a lot of countries. We do have Palestine, Lebanon, Serbia, of course, Ireland and Northern Ireland. We have Colombia, we have Nepal, we have South Africa. So, and that diversity is really allowing us to navigate through differences and learn from different experiences people would see. And try to exchange their experiences and build on them.
How do you translate the ethos of collaboration into real impactful strategies?
There are three things. One of them is that we need to be vocal and strong and not shy of putting things as they are. We know that the UNCRC, the United Nations Convention of the Right of the Child, failed the children in the world. We need to say it. And we have done an article together with our Australian colleagues that looked at different articles of this UNCRC and have identified Gaza as an example how these articles have been violated. So basically, we as a network, in order to make a difference, we need to be vocal and challenge the political level that does
and raise
decisions.
Awareness of the ongoing
Not only
issue.
raise awareness, request the change of policies so that policies are child friendly and child protective. Second, we need to learn from Ireland and Northern Ireland. They have created the program that I was fortunate to learn about it, which is the Media Initiative, whereby we have brought the differences into visual items, elements, so that children, communities, families, parents, institutions can see those diversities and learn how to accept them. Because you cannot just talk abstract to the diversities. You need to show the children how to do it.
And it's still work in progress, but we're getting better.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And the third issue is really to enhance international, inter-community cooperation so that our work within relatively a small number of communities and countries can expand and scale up.
Yeah, and scaling is the issue, isn't it? When we get something that works, it's so important that we roll it out in some way. Thank you for joining us today, but more than that, thank you for the work that you're doing worldwide to improve the rights and the situation and the circumstances of children. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and I really appreciate hosting me on this. Thank you.
Thank you. What a privilege to have the opportunity to talk to Dr. Ali Shaar today. And I just wanted to reflect on some of the things that he said would be so important to the success of this mission to Ireland. He talked about the importance of international collaboration, not just to raise awareness of the impact of war on children, but to require policy change to protect women and children and to implement the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child in its entirety. He talked about the need for countries to learn from each other and to support each other's initiatives and programmes. And then he talked about how important it is to promote sporting and cultural initiatives that bring children and communities together. The title of this podcast is Success is Never Accidental. And success in this arena clearly won't happen without a strategic plan. And the International Network on Peacebuilding with Young Children have an impressive and a challenging strategic plan for 2025 to 2030. But it won't happen without the commitment of people like Dr. Ali Shaar and his colleagues worldwide, and it won't happen without money. So we wish him success in his endeavours over the next few days to secure investment in peace-building activity.